Good evening, Professor O. My name is Israeli Elam. My other two group members are Alexandra Maroy and Melanie Pena. We are Group 1, the Vail Ski Resort of Colorado. I will be doing the presentation for our group based on our paper and our PowerPoint. To start off, the Vail Ski Resort is located in Vail, Colorado, and is very beautiful and one of the biggest ski resorts in the United States. And also the third largest ski resort to only use one mountain, which is very cool. So, because of that one mountain, we have very skiable terrains that have 5,317 acres of terrain, which is very nice and very safe for our guests to be skiing on. So to start off, we'll talk about the transportation. Mind you, the Vail Ski Resort is very far from the main airport, which is in Denver. So it's about an hour and a half to 2 hours to travel from the Denver airport to the Vail Ski Resort. Also, we do take flights from the Eagle County Airport, but the Eagle County Airport is only for domestic flights only, which are obviously nonstop flights. So those flights come in quicker and also doesn't take as long to get to our ski resort than the resort getting from the Denver, Colorado airport. So to start off, I will start off with the part that with the airport transportation, you are thinking probably like, how would they get from each area? But the best thing is our hotels and our resort in general supply a shuttle that can go to and from every every hour to every 30 minutes. The shuttle will leave and bring more people or take more people to leave. So it's convenient and it's free. Another thing is our ski resort is very luxurious. So the prices for the rooms vary on the season. Peak season is usually January through March. So right now it would have been around 189 to 300 per night depending on the hotel you choose. One of the main properties is the lodge at the Vail, but you do know people have their own preference. So you have Marriott people, you have Hilton people. So those types of people, we do have Hilton and Marriott brands and Ritz. Well, Ritz Carlton is Marriott, but we have a Ritz Carlton. So it depends on what you have a taste for. But an average of our rooms at the lodge at the Vail, one room, which is around 208 a night, is for a standard two-bedroom suite and 257 a night for a deluxe two-bedroom suite. So that one's more spacious. So to go into more detail, I will be briefing on the resort planning and development. So there's three things that we have to plan and develop to make them better, which is we need to talk about the snow, talk about F&B planning, and we're going to talk about the ski lifts. So, the first thing is with the the snow outside. Now we have a lot of all of our activities are obviously outside, but we do also have little shops, stores, spas, the hotels, and you have to also remember that you have to make sure that the snow is not traveling into these areas because remember when snow melts it makes water. And if we have water all over the place, that's an easy lawsuit, and somebody could sue us because they could have slipped on water. So to avoid that, we make sure that our staff is always shoveling the snow outside when it starts building up. And also, if anything, we're mopping the floor and we are putting wet signs up to make sure that our guests are safe. The second thing that I'm touching on about the planning is the portion of our F&B. Mind you, we are far away from Denver, like we're 2 hours away. So we have to make sure that we have, or the guest or us, make sure we have everything received in advance so nothing perishes and we're not wasting money because we are luxurious, but our food quality has to be high even when it comes to some guests, because some guests also like to cook. They don't really like going out when they come on trips. So they also, if they were to purchase Amazon, like an Amazon grocery, it would be suggested when they call to reserve or online that they call ahead. So when they arrive, their groceries will be there already. So they won't have to worry about 2 hours away and waiting 2 hours for somebody to bring stuff for them. Another thing is is the guests. So when the guests go on the to ski, they have to go on the lifts. So currently, right now, we only have 31 different lifts, but we're going to work on getting more so we can make sure the guests are, you know, safe getting up and down the mountain, but more so we can have a bigger crowd, but also making sure it's safe, not hanging, nothing crazy. So also we have I'll talk about our recreational activities and it depends on the season because you think okay maybe it's just a ski resort but we're more than a ski resort. We're all seasonal. So we have obviously the ski time and we have the summertime. So for the winter, we currently have snowboarding, skiing, ice skating, hot air ballooning. We have spas, restaurants, shopping stores for shopping, small boutiques, stuff that you can do anywhere. And also, excuse me, excuse me. We also have summer activities. So for our summer activities, we have fishing, hiking, zip lining, mountain climbing, artistic events, and we have water rafting. We have a lot of stuff to offer in both of the areas. We even have a pass that you can purchase depending on, the season, but we have a pass that guests can purchase. So if they do decide to be in the area or if they want to stay or if they want to come, they can do everything for that one price. We also have to manage our resort. So for managing the resort, we have to talk about how the distance is. So right now, our location is about 1 hour and 45 minutes away from Denver. So the only problem with that is our employee retention rate is lower because either people are housing, they're staying in employee housing, or they just like to go home. And obviously employee housing is coming out of their pension, but at the same time, they're still getting paid and they're still working. So that leads me to the fact that a large part of our workforce is mainly full time and it's only seasonal when it's, during the peak season. We have seasonal positions open. But we have to try to get that retention or we have to make sure the retention rate isn't high so we can make sure our guests and our employees are satisfied. To touch on that more, we also have our guests our guests and our employees are very good within our customer service. And one thing about it, if you want to have your guests happy, you have to have your employees happy. So for our employees, we make sure they have full benefits such as insurance, health benefits, they get access to various activities at free or reduced price even when they bring their family. With our guests, they have so many activities to choose from, and we even have like live entertainment, which brings me to like some of our special events. So I touched on in our last assignment prior, or maybe two assignments prior, we were talking about recreational activities, and I touched on how the Vail Ski Resort has crazy events. They have concerts, they have charity events, and they even have something just like Sobe, which is their Colorado ski resort and food and wine festival, where even you can have dinner on the mountain. Like, it's amazing. And it comes in different packages. There's a lot to do, there's so many things to do. So, we also have transportation that's to and from, and the guests will never have to worry about getting a Lyft or an Uber. The guests always will have this free transportation provided by our Vail Ski Resort, and they will always be provided with five-star service. The thing about it, though, that's the only thing that's about the airport thing is our guests have an open mind and they can fly wherever they would like. But the Eagle County Regional Airport actually has non-stop stop flights from 14 major markets, and they make it faster and more efficient to cut 1 hour's worth of transportation to the resort. So pretty much if somebody's flying from the Denver airport, it's going to take them 2 hours to get to us. But if they go through Eagle County, it only takes them an hour to get to us on the shuttle. So that's something we can bring up to our guests when they're booking so they can think about how they want to obviously fly, but everybody has their own preference. Some other services that we also have is childcare and programs for kids. So we have like a all girls program that's about 2 weeks, and prices vary. And the guest children, the daughters or nieces or anything, they can come and they can ski. And they can be taught ski, and not only skiing and snowboarding, but we also teach them about loving themselves, self-esteem, confidence, how to be friendly and everything. But the best part about it is for those families coming with kids, or maybe that one little baby that they just had and they wanted to really go on a trip, we have a daycare. Our daycare prices range. It could be from 150 to 180 depending on the time, and we only take babies and toddlers. We don't take anything above the age of 6, and all of our childcare people are certified in CPR, background checked, everything. So parents don't have to worry about anything when it comes to their children being okay. Another thing too is for questions and anything, obviously people are very tech savvy, so they can go on our website. We have a variety of information that they can read through. They can send us a message online, they could reserve online. But then you have people who still like to have conversation, and they could call reservations and ask all types of questions, which is pretty much better, because it can give them a bigger insight, and they can also learn a little bit more, such as what I'm telling you about the airport, because maybe they may have a question about that, and contract to in contrary to somebody going online and not really doing their research. For our safety and security, one thing about it is our guest safety is important to us more than anything. And one thing we have to always remember is injuries are bound to be increased when it's outside. And a lot of guests have have to get the rules of protection beforehand. So we always tell our guests to dress warmly as possible. Wear correct gear. Make sure the weather is appropriate, obviously, on our end, to make sure they're not going out in a snowstorm, or for them to go out in the rain or anything bad. And we'll touch more on the snowstorms too. Another thing with that too is we have to cancel activities, for example, if there's a snowstorm. So what we do is we'll give the guests a pass to obviously come back and do the activity they wanted to do after all the weather passes by. And we'll just have to suspend them, because we'd rather suspend the activities than have guests go through with these activities and hurt themselves. Another thing too is we have to make sure we take care of the surveillance. So one thing about the location of the resort is that it's something that is it's a priority, but the surveillance is not as much as other resorts will use and prior to us, because we have a natural cold terrain, so we have to make sure that's always on point. For the marketing section, who do we market to? We market to almost everyone except extreme skiers and snowboarders and budget travelers. Like I said in the beginning, we are a luxury resort, and we don't do extreme sporting because we have to make sure everybody is safe. Majority of the time, we have a lot of amateurs who come out there, and that's why we also make sure headgear, clothing, everything. But aside from those people, we attract anybody who can afford it or who just wants to have an enjoyable time with their family. We really target though families and people with interests of winter activities, so people who like skiing, snowboarding, ice skating, and even people who just like to travel for leisure. And we have amazing spa services that attract that specific person. Another thing that we do for promotion is, of course, we use the internet. Like, who doesn't use the internet? We use the internet, we use social media, we reach out any way we can, and we show people what they can do. We put videos up of potential activities that they can do at different prices so they can have an insight. We also, obviously, everybody's on a Yelp or TripAdvisor, and people do leave reviews. So We do have different reviews and articles that promote our resort, and we also respond back to them saying thank you, or how can we fix that, or take it in as critical or great criticism. One thing about it is our potential guest market includes groups during the summer, like small summer camps and schools that want to hold events during their holiday break. So, like, obviously, like colleges. So, like, for example, if FIU wanted to attend Vail Ski Resort for a week as a trip, like a study abroad trip, they can do that. And they do group packaging. We do group packaging. Another thing, too, that we do is we really take in hand about our economic environment and the social impact on the resort. And one thing about it is we have to take care of snowstorms. We're in the snow, we have to take care of snowstorms. And sadly, not only does our business flop, but we lose employees. And it sucks because right now, in a time with the COVID-19, a lot of businesses are failing. They're failing to stay open, and employees are out of work. Like me right now, I'm furloughed, sadly. My whole group were furloughed. We all work in hotels, and sometimes things do happen tragically out of anywhere. You don't even know where it comes from. It just happens out of nowhere, and it just ruins things, but it happens and we have to be prepared for these things. So for our group for the Vail, Colorado ski resort, we also take into cases that we have to make sure that we are prepared for these things, and we have to avoid having any health risks such as frostbite, broken limbs, head injuries. We have to make sure that our guests are 100% safe. Another thing is too, because we are far, the retention rate is very low, and we're, like I said, we're an hour and 45 minutes away from Denver, and the social impact will be, it's very business-like, but overall, we're trying to get more family oriented because, like I said, it is expensive. So we're in the process right now of working on, group packaging, family packaging, so our guests can be able to enjoy. Everybody can be able to enjoy. So another thing we do is a couple of future trends we see is obviously technology is going crazy, and we also need families. We need to attract families. So one thing we can do is to try to promote the hotel more. So, a lot of us are on Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, so maybe we can try to reach out on those outlets to get to people. And also we need to try to get the families included. So we need to try to get work with family packaging affordable for the whole family to come with the hotel, and also we can try to get some weddings out here, some group packaging, think bigger money, and also try to do some community focused activities because the community does matter, and we need to make sure our community is included. Maybe do some giving back to the community, having like a free event, everybody can ski for free one day, maybe like as our birthday, like our anniversary gift, or however so you want to say it. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about our SWOT analysis. So we have two strengths, two weaknesses, two opportunities, and two threats. Our two strengths is it's the top 10 visited resort, and obviously we have a loyal customer base. Weaknesses, we're very expensive, and we rely heavy on mountain segment success. So like I said, we have to make sure that terrain is 100% on point for our guests to ski. Opportunities we have is to increase ownership of existing resorts and also continuing innovating in resort operations. So, from increasing ownership of existing resorts, there's a lot of ski resorts out there. And if we can try to take and own other ski resorts, we'll be 100% on top. And threats that aren't good for us are, obviously the environment and government permits. So we have to also make sure we're always on top of our permits and license so we don't have any situations. For our pros and cons of the hotel, our pros are obviously we're the biggest ski resort in Colorado. It's known from our long wide runs, which are groomed to perfection. We offer charming pedestrian sized ski town. So it's a ski town, but open to anybody, and it offers putting the seat on and off the slope. So even if you don't want to be on the slope, you could go get a massage, a pedicure. You could go have dinner, lunch, whatever you would like to do, or shop. Our cons though is our resort is very crowded all the time. It's very expensive to ski. Our terrains are steep and it lacks abundance. It lacks abundance of being steep. And also, if a snowstorm does come, there's no getting in or getting out of our hotel. So that's a hard one. Another thing that we also have is to improve. So, how can we improve? The way we can improve is by reaching out to the generations, switching up our target market. So, one thing about it is that the younger group is coming up, the millennials and the Generation Zs, and we have to make sure that these kids are coming to our ski resort. So if we have to make a package for spring break, winter break, we'll do anything because we want to make sure we're reaching out to every person, not just families or corporate men or anything. We have to make sure we're reaching everything. But we also have to remember that we have high class clientele, but we also have to make sure that we're making it affordable for everyone else. Another thing that we need to improve on is trying to make an extra small road, but the cost is going to be about $1 to $3 million for us to be able to do this. So, in order for us to really keep guests to keep coming, we have to give them 100% customer service and really have their trust, and for God forbid that we have a snowstorm. So during a time like this, they will be fine. But we will also have to think revenuely, and we have to think about the funding that's going to come into this project of trying to get another road. So, another thing that we need to do is have a lot of activities that are available for our community. Like a lot of places have a lot of things offered to their community, and we need to try to open it up to them. So we need to try to do something for by offering packages, like I said before, like you'll be offered two free adult tickets and two free children tickets for one day, if you stay at this hotel, or maybe like half off, or we could do like a special for like a month, like, oh, if two adults come, then two kids are free. Try to make it affordable for families because we need to reach the families and the young people. Also, another thing we can do too is, like I said, for like spring breakers and for students coming for winter break and stuff, we can try to make packages for them so like they can stay in this hotel and get complimentary breakfast and be able to do these for maybe like $500 per person. Like that's pretty cheap, and it's not cheap for a college student, but it's pretty cheap when you think about everything you're getting. Also, we can think of a loyalty program. So obviously a lot of people do love to ski, so you could try to put a loyalty program with our guests, so like if they want to come for their birthday, we'll give them like a free ski trip for their birthday, like maybe like 2 days of free skiing and like a birthday cake or something in their room, something nice to keep them feeling personable, making it personable. Also, we could do tournaments or competitions for our community. So everybody, everything's about building a relationship with the guests and the community because those are the people who are going to be spending money anyways. And another thing we can do too is try to come up with a resident package. Just like Disney, if you're a local resident in Florida, if you're a Florida resident, you get like this $100 park thing. You could go to four parks each for 100, or you could go to three parks for like 200 and plus taxes and etc. So we can try to do something like that with our guests. So we can try to, if they have a local ID, they can do $40 per year, and adults and children or with a child under 2 years old is free. Senior citizen discounts. We can do a lot of things to reach out to our guests in our community. So overall, that is our final portion of the project. And for our Vail, Colorado ski resort. This is the final video, final presentation, final paper. I would just like to thank you, Dr. O, for teaching us a lot about resort development by allowing us to do this project. And I really hope that you're staying safe and your family's staying safe. And I just wanted to thank you. Thank you.